Questions that are asked on WorldVuze are about discovering opinions or points of view and not about finding out facts. This is a unique opportunity to learn directly from students locally and around the world through their lived experiences, which is something that can't be Googled. A good question on WorldVuze is one that requires deep thought to answer, has no one right or wrong answer, is open to a general audience whenever possible, is written in simple language that can be easily understood, and has resulted from input and collaboration with your students. Every question on WorldVuze has both a multiple choice and an open-ended part to it. When a question is posted, students are asked first to choose a multiple choice option, then share a short written explanation as to why they chose that option. This can help aggregate data so that students can examine patterns in people's opinions, for example, both within and between places geographically. It can then further help students gain a deeper understanding of why people may have a certain opinion. Not all questions are the same. Understanding how to ask good questions is an important learning opportunity in itself. The Critical Thinking Consortium divides questions based on their ability to invite critical thinking into three possible types of questions: recall questions, preference questions, and inquiry questions. Recall questions ask students to locate the correct answer from some source, from their memory, a book, or some other reference. For example, ice cream belongs in which of the four food groups? Preference questions ask students to share their likes or dislikes. These answers are readily available from their own experience. For example, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream? And lastly, inquiry questions invite real critical thinking. They require students to develop criteria in which to judge and weigh possible options and provide reason for their choice. For example, should ice cream be part of a family diet? Before you post your question, you may want to ask yourself and your students the following questions about your question. 1. What are we really hoping to learn? 2. Can we find the answer to the question using Google? And 3. Will this question help us find the answers we are looking for? Since every question on WorldVuze requires multiple choice options, we wanted to share some types of multiple choice answers you can use. Most importantly, to make sure we are not forcing students to answer questions dishonestly, always have do not know and other as multiple choice options for your question. One type of multiple choice answer is yes or no. For example, do you believe men and women have equal employment opportunities in your country? Remember, this will be followed by students having to share a short written explanation of why they chose that answer. A rating or Likert scale, for example, climate change has a big effect on how I live. Please choose between strongly disagree to strongly agree. Remember, you can change the scale from agree to rating other things such as importance. And category options. For example, which of these, if available, do you think would have the biggest impact on human health? Remember, writing categories requires some thought and is a good opportunity to develop knowledge of a subject. After choosing a multiple choice option, why is the open-ended default for every question? If you would like specific information in the open-ended written section of a question, one thing to consider is to prompt students to provide this information in your question itself. For example, what is the most important role of trees in your community? The multiple choice options may be firewood, shade, oxygen, food. If you also want to know their favorite tree, you may want to add next to the question an instruction such as, please include in your answer your favorite tree. Last but not least, we wanted to share some information about the optional features available when you're posting your question. We will also soon add a point system for asking questions, but won't introduce that until later. In the news, if you are asking a question that is currently in the news, make sure to indicate it in your question form. Links. You can add a link to your question to, for example, a newspaper article or a video that will help others further understand your question. Definitions. You can add definitions if there are words in your question that others may not understand or there may be multiple meanings. When you are asking questions, feel free to refer to news articles and even pictures or videos to start a dialogue. Most importantly, make thinking about your question a learning activity for your class.